So something I want to cast a reel and just shake back to something that you said that I find unique from other people we've had on the podcast. And it's when you were like, hey, Dad, I want $5,000 of DJ equipment and this is what I'm going to do. It seems like that was the all-in approach. And I think even your dad being hard on you by being like, here's how you have to make it work was probably a motivating factor in why it became successful. Because if I take a step back to the first podcast, Dylan, it was essentially the same thing. When Dylan Francis wanted to start DJing, he saw a friend who was doing it, and then he essentially convinced his parents to be like, hey, like, let me try this DJ thing for a year. I'm going to live in the, in the guest house.
Right.
And let me just try to do this for a year. And if it doesn't work, then I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then in his head, it's like, all right, I have 1 year to make this happen.
Right.
And then that's when he was flying to Atlanta. That's when he was doing all this stuff to be like, I'll do whatever it takes. And it is that, all-in approach. Austin Maliola was on the podcast, different setting, but he wanted to do the CrossFit Level 1. He had to open up 2 credit cards to pay the $1,000 fee to take the course.
Right.
Because, you had a max limit on both of them. But that was like, this is it.
Yep.
Like, I got to do this, and I've got to make it work. And it's almost that like burn the ships mentality to where if you arrive at port and you want something to work on that island, if you have a ship to go back to, it's not going to be 100% push. Right. But you get off that, you burn your ships. It's like, this is what's going to happen. And I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that was kind of how it started and how much time you spent like making music to where it's like, it's no matter what the discipline, yes, this is a fitness podcast, but relating it back to your dedication to do that, I think is just so unique and it's really cool and inspiring.
Thanks, bro. You make me cry. But the best part, I actually paid my father back within like 6 months of like I did just like, what I tell you, there's like I did gigs where like shit was falling from a ceiling, like a bathroom was above me, and like wet shit water was pouring like right behind me, and I was like, are we gonna shut this club down right now? And the guy was just like, no, it's normal. I'm like, what are you talking about? This was before Big Night. Like this was some place in Faneuil Hall. There's just stuff falling from the ceiling, nothing's working. And then I was like, oh, this is life, this is part of it. And then now I'm just so spoiled. Like I have a big joke, like I'm a diva now because like music, my equipment has to be a certain way, everything has to be a certain way. But I also have put in like 18 years now. I've been through the absolute shithole gigs. I've had to deal with every issue possible of like girls unplugging stuff in the middle of your set. Like at the estate one night, I'll never forget. It was like 1,000 people there. Place is going crazy, and all of a sudden, like the build-up's going. I think it was like Party Rock Anthem when it just came out. It's like building up, like, and then all of a sudden, it's just like lights are going crazy. It's just like silence right before the drop, and I'm like, oh. And you just see a girl with the plug like this because I like didn't play a song she wanted. I was like, this is great. This is my life. This is fucking great. But that was like in the middle, so at this point, I was like becoming like I knew a lot more then, but. That type of shit happens too. Yeah,
just unplugged straight up.
I mean, New Year's Eve at Memoir this year. Some dude jumped on the booth, and this wasn't you for once. Some dude jumped on the booth and actually stepped on my laptop and closed it. Yeah. There's a footprint, a big, like the guy's foot must have been like a size 16. The thing fucking overlapped the fucking laptop. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been through it all. So it's like, I always make fun of myself. I know I'm kind of a diva, but it's also like I've been through all the shit. So
you're going to get to be.
I do in here. I mean, I still do a lot of the grunt work too, though, that no one sees behind the scenes. But yeah, I mean, still to this day, I try to take as many gigs as I can. I try to practice as much as I can. But it's almost impossible because I'm either here or I'm in nightclubs.
Right.
So it's like I basically work 7 days a week for the most part, even though I have a wife and 2 kids, which is a whole different story because they're a lot of work.
Right. And your wife is an absolute saint.
She's the best. She's literally the best. She deals with a lot.
I mean, just being a friend, sometimes I like see it and I'm like, geez, man.
It's exhausting. It's just a lot because her thing is always like, you just never stop. Like I just go 24/7. So her thing is like, can you just sit down and chill? And she gets worried about me, but then it's like, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. So yeah, but it's part of the life, man. I don't know. It's great. I love what I do. Like I forget who said it's like, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. That's how I feel. Like I never actually feel like I'm working. You're the same exact way, so it's like, oh, yeah. I know how you feel about fitness, and you've actually been like the only person that has actually had me somewhat enjoy fitness. Like I played hockey in high school, college, and it's like I trained then. I hated it. I still hate like I would never go to a gym and work out on my own. I'm just not that person. Like I need someone like you, or when Alex fills in for you. Like I need someone that's like there watching me to tell me what to do because we all know my ADD is just out of this world.
Next to Mark.
It's as bad as Mark's. It's worse than Mark's. Like, I just can't focus. I'm just like always thinking about something. I want to like, oh, this just came to my brain. Let me tell you about this story that's completely useless to your life. Like, so having you train me, it's like, focus. Hey, focus. Like, hey, what are you doing? Focus. So
I
it's
will
like,
separate you.
yeah. So that helps. But yeah, it's been great, man. I feel fucking great whenever you're training me.
And I think that's powerful to people who live lifestyles similar to yours, to where it doesn't all revolve around fitness. It's like if my demographic in the BeFit podcast is just people 100% dedicated to fitness, I'm wasting my time talking to them. Right? What am I going to inspire them to continue to do what they're doing?
Right.
But for someone who cues in, they click on it and they're like, oh, DJ Costa, I love him. I got a headband on. Whether they know how it got on their head or not. But they're fans of you, and they see the party style. But then it's like, well, hey, if you again peek behind the curtain, there's a lot more that goes into it. One, with the work side of things, the amount of stuff that you do for this company in order to make everything, the world go round. But two, it's like there also has to be some sort of dedication, or else there's going to be a plateau or something to where either you are not healthy enough to it, or you're getting sick more often, or there's all these things that I preach about: sickness, wellness, fitness. And if you can get yourself closer to fitness, well, every aspect of your life is going to be
100%. I noticed it big time for me. So luckily, I have an amazing immune system. So for me, I don't get colds often. But for me, when I'm training with you and like eating healthy, I know like my performances. I don't even want to say that because it sounds like kind of corny. I'm just a DJ. But like when I'm actually DJing like big shows, I really notice a difference of like energy, and like I can go the full 2 hours and be like, let's go fucking 4 more hours. I'm ready to go. And then there's some nights if I'm like off the wagon a little bit with like fitness, and I'm like just eating bad and, not taking care of myself at all. Like some nights I'm like 30 minutes and I'm like, holy shit, I'm tired. So whenever I am on with you, it's like I could go like 6 hours of high energy party, and then it's a noticeable difference for me. And it's more brain too. It's like, it's a lot of it's in my brain, and I feel sluggish. But when I'm on, I'm like, when I'm training, I feel like a 18-year-old kid again.
So that goes out to all the people that are busy. I'm not saying anyone's not busy, but it's like, oh, I don't have, I have to have energy for this, so I can't expend it on this. It's not how it works.
No. I'm a kind of a culprit. Sometimes like, I can't come in, I'm too busy, or I have this. I'm like, I know when I'm working out fully with you, it's like, there's because your workout's like 20 minutes for the most part. So it's like, anyone can find 20 minutes in their day. Yep. And it makes such a difference for the rest of your day. Because like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm in here, I'm like rocking around. I'm like, mucking it up with everyone in the office all day. And then I get home, I'm like, kids, dinner, I'm up, like I can stay up later. I'm like, I just have so much energy. And then when I'm not, I'm just like, noon comes, I'm just like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. What time? Oh my God, it's noon. I still have to go home. So, I still got to play with the kids. Still got, some nights it's like go home, play with the kids, put them to bed, then go do a gig, wake up the next morning, get to the office by 10 a.m. Luckily we have a very open schedule here, but there's some days where it's like nonstop. You get like a 5-hour break to sleep, and that's it.
I do like I think rather than it kind of describing it as an open concept here at the office, it's like, get your work done.
Yeah, it's work hard, play hard. Everyone here works so much, so hard. So like, there's a lot of freedom, which is the best part of the office.
And you'll know if something's lacking. Every role kind of plays its own piece. And so, I find myself, there's not a single day I have to be in the office.
Right.
If I have meetings, but I find myself here almost every day because of the collaboration, because everyone is kind of on the same page of both work and fun.
Right.
To be able to chat with people, to bounce ideas off people, to make stuff happen on site. I just think it's a really cool work environment, and that they wanted to invest in a fitness side of things, not just for expand of Big Night, but for the employees as well.
Right.
I think it's cool. And
I think one issue is that a lot of people, not enough of the people, are taking advantage of the Tuesday, Thursday setup that we have, because it's literally in the building.
And I'm always, that's where we need to break down, and that's where I need to get better at breaking down barriers. Because without sounding cocky or like an asshole, I could go to every person in the office right now and say, hey, I have a template, or I can create a template specific to you, specific to your pre-existing injuries, specific to everything that you have going on, that will improve the quality of your life. And in a matter of months, if you follow this and train with me, you will feel the best you've ever felt in your life. And I can say, here it is. And it's free because I'm working here and doing this. But people don't take advantage of that.
It's crazy.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, even the event you had like the Sunday, I think it was someone in accounting was just like, do you think I could handle it? I was like, of course you can handle it. Like, he trains everyone towards their like specialty or whatever they have injuries with. I mean, one thing with you, I have bad knees from playing hockey my whole life. So like, when we were working out Reebok all the time, you would always cater my workouts around my knees and around my injuries. And you still do, because I have a bummed ankle because I'm an old man. But like, that's the part that I think a lot of people, like, they also, I think it's an excuse thing too. It's like they use that to not come, because I think just some people get intimidated with working out. It is an intimidating thing because you're used to going to a gym workout. Like, if you go to an actual gym and do like a group class, sometimes it's intimidating. Like, I used to hate that. I never went to them. I went to one and I was like, well, this is kind of horrific. Like, everyone just looks at you like you're kind of like a weirdo if you don't do it right.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are just like intimidated by that setting. But you know, the way you train people, it's a little different.
I think there's a lot of, I don't want to take credit to be like, it's like the one area, you know, I learned from my mentors and people above that, but I think intimidation is a big thing too. And I also think that people are so good at their jobs that, let's say you're in accounting or you're in marketing and you're really, really good at that. It's hard to take a step back and do something that you're going to suck at.
Right.
And
I get that too.
Especially around your coworkers, to where there's some people in here, not to name, will not train if anyone else is around.
Right.
But if it's just a one-on-one, it's like, hey, it's okay. It's okay for me to look bad in front of this person because everyone does, because this is their profession and job. My job is training. But it's like this fear of looking bad, working out.
100%.
Where it's like you want to be at this goal, and if you were at this goal, then you'd go train in front of everyone.
100%.
But the issue is that you're not ever going to get there unless you start, and you're gonna, you know, we stress this all the time. Like, you're gonna look bad when you start, or not bad, but you're not gonna be the fittest person in the room.
No.
And there's gonna be stuff that you struggle at.
I puked with you, I think, the first like couple times when I started working out with you when I was really overweight. Like, it's the last, who wants to like puke? But I was so out of shape, and it's like, okay, you gotta get over that hump and then you'll be fine. And guess what? I forget, you used to say something all the time, and you would say, I think you said, like, doesn't get easier, you just get, I forget, you used to say something to me all the time.
The workouts don't get easier, you just get better.
That's exactly what you used to always say to me, and it was so true. And it's still true now. Like, when we started doing the Tuesday, Thursday thing, it was torture some days because I was just back out of shape. And then now it's just, you know, every week it's not easier. It's just I'm getting stronger and more fit again. And then so it
enables you to push harder. And
push a little harder. And then you push it to the perfect point. It's that we're not like to get fitter. But it's some people, it is intimidating. Like, I'm not a huge fitness person. I think I hate working out for the most part, but I know I have to. Like, you got to do it. I'm lucky enough. There's some people that can't work out for health reasons. Like, a lot of us are lucky enough to work out. So it's like, my wife said this to me recently. I said, "Oh, I don't want to work out today." I think it was like a Tuesday, and she's like, you should just be fortunate that you can work out." Like, and I was like, you know what? That's fucking right. Like, there's so many people that have issues that they can't work out. So it's like, what am I complaining about? Just get up and fucking work out. It's good for you. It's good for your well-being.
Yeah, I was walking through the airport from a seminar years ago, and we were walking on the escalator, and my buddy James walked on the stairs. And I was just joking with him, and he always like drops these lines on me. He's always like very like, you know, particular about it. And I was like, "Oh, just trying to get your fitness in." And he said something along the lines of, he's like, "There are people who would kill for one day to be able to walk up a set of stairs."
100%.
And you think about that and you're like, fuck. Like, and meanwhile, I'm like, well, I don't want to walk up these stairs. It's like, there are people who are unable to walk who would give anything to walk. And then you like hear something like that and you're like, you know what?
And you start thinking, you're like, fuck, what am I complaining about? Her thing, I was like, I don't want to work out. She's like, you should say I'm lucky I can work out. I was like, that's so true.
Yeah. I like to use the word like fortunate. You know, because luck has a lot to do with it. Good luck, bad luck, whatever you want it to be. But you know, I remember you would message me when we were super strict, and you're like, "This is the best I've ever felt in my life."
I felt amazing. That's the goal right now. But it's like a life-changing feeling though. Yeah. Once you get on that, once you get strict, and what's it take? I don't know. What's that saying? It takes like a certain amount to be committed. I forget. My brain's not working. But once you get like consistent with it, like every week, and then it becomes part of your life, it's just, you don't even think twice about it.
Yeah, and that can go for like the nutrition side of things too, to where beforehand when we talked about fasting, it was like, wait, I can't eat until now.
Yeah.
And now it's almost kind of like ingrained in you.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
like
even think about it now.
You know, and there's times when you're like, purposefully, and it's okay to like break it, to be like, hey, I'm gonna eat this at this point in time,
Right.
and I understand it. But there is that base. It's just it's never gonna get there unless you try.
And diet to me is the biggest thing. For me especially, like there's so many foodie people that probably listen to this. Especially, I'm the biggest foodie person. I love food. I think about food probably way more than I should. But like, I'm obsessed with food. I'm obsessed with meals. Like, I'm obsessed with like cheat meals. I'm obsessed with, Sunday's coming. Okay, like I plan like the whole week. I'll plan like what we're eating on Sundays. Like, it's just how I am. It's like it's one of those things that just brings me happiness. So it's like, I'm never giving that up ever. Like, I just won't be able to. But as long as I can be strict like Monday through Friday for the most part, like that's always been my goal. Like, but even then I should switch it because I should be eating good Saturday because that's the big night from all my gigs. So it's like, and then I'm in my brain like, well, why do I do that? And then but that's the brain of a crazy person.
Well, that's what I think separates some people from wanting to start training and using a trainer and not, to where some trainers have this idea in their head of, this is something that's worked for me and I know it works, so it's going to work for everyone. And being like, you don't need to eat that shit. You don't need to do this. You don't need, and then people are like, well, I'm not willing to give that up. But finding someone who can work, why I started doing fasting with you and why I've done it with a lot of artists or a lot of people that, are in the nature of your business, is that you still can.
Right.
It's like you have that. We split up with buddies. So what we started doing is it was a 16 and 8. So 16 hours of fasting and an 8-hour eating window. But what we did is we split up the 8-hour eating window. So for instance, Buddy's fast starts at 8 p.m. So he's not going to eat again until the following day at noon. But we break up the eating windows to where at noon, this is kind of something that we've tried. We've worked back and forth. I've actually taken some stuff from Corey Gregory with his anabolic fasting. But from 12 to 4, Buddy can eat whatever proteins, whatever fat sources that he wants. However, for carbohydrate sources, it can only be fruits and vegetables. So no starches, no rice, no buns, no pastas, no any of that. So only fruits and vegetables as a source of primary macronutrient carbohydrate. Protein and fat, whatever you want. And then from 4 to 8, whatever.
Yeah, you always said if the kids get pizza, just if you really want it, just eat the pizza.
Whatever you want. Know that, yeah, ideally I'd like you to eat the same way. Sometimes you need a little bit more carbs, and the cleaner it is, the better. The less ingredients, the better. So if you are going to have your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, your rice, and all of that stuff, fantastic. But if it ends up being pizza, pasta, all of that, that's in your diet. From 4 to 8, you are still following your guidelines, so you don't feel like you fell off the wagon when you eat a carbonara with 2,700 calories.
But you always said you always like, well, if you want to be fitter though, don't go down that road.
Right, and then you get to make that decision, but it's not like this. Hey, we're going to be strict paleo, and then you have one day where you fall off the wagon, and you're like, well, fuck it, now I'm off.
Right.
It's like you can get back on the next day, and that's what kind of keeps it sustainable. That's why I wanted to do that with you. And then sometimes you have to manipulate the hours a little bit because you want to eat a little bit later.
Yep. Because on the weekends I usually eat like before gigs. We'll do dinner at like 9 or 9:30. So it's like I'd push everything back to 1 the next day when I was doing it like strictly that way. I mean, when I was strict is when I was in the best shape. So
yeah, and Dylan would stay with his eating window. So Dylan Francis, another DJ, when we were on tour. I mean, it was a hard cutoff, like 8 o'clock, and he even had an app on his phone to where if we stopped at 7:50, then then he would do his 16 hours. But a lot of times we'd add some more on top of it. And then from there it was like he'd have his tea for caffeine or cold brew, and outside of that he wasn't drinking on that. That was a different level of dedication to where he was or what his goals are. But there's always like things that you can manipulate to make it work. Is it working for you? What are you willing to sacrifice or change for your goals? If you were to come to me and say, hey, I need to weigh 165 pounds by the end of summer, then I'm going to say, all right, well, we're going to have to make some sacrifices on that, right? We're going to do that. But if you want to continue, I mean, that's going to be a hot boy summer.
Yeah, that would be. But
it'd be a hot boy fall.
I'd rather go like January to June 1st. Like by June 1st, I want it. But.
Yeah. But depending on what level you're willing to participate is the results. Very similar to what we just talked about. When you didn't have a choice when you spent the $5,000 on the equipment, and when Dylan was staying for a year at his parents, when Austin bought the $1,000, that was at what level are you willing to participate, and it was all in all the time.
Right.
And that was the mentality to why that was effective. Now, there's other lifestyle bits to where you enjoy drinking at your shows. I don't want to take that away from you, but know that the results may vary or may be a little bit slower, but
Takes
we can
longer.
find something that can work. So always know there is an option. It doesn't just have to be this approach to where it's like you're either here or here. And I think that's sometimes what people are intimidated. They get afraid of.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get afraid of, I got to give up the food I love. I got to give up drinking. I got to give up this, got to give up that. But like, it's tough. It depends on who you are as a person. But like, there's so many people that love their wine, love their tequila, love their whatever, their things are on the weekends. It's tough for certain people.
Yeah. And just hearing from you that you're, in progress. You're working.
We're trying to get, yeah. We
Yeah,
got a little bummed wheel right now that we're working around, but
playing
floor hockey. I got a nice little two-hander in the ankle. It's been a month now. We think there's
Who hit you with
some guy with no teeth.
Shout him out. Do we know his name?
No, is exactly who would you picture with two-handed person in floor hockey on the ankle.
I'm gonna go beat the shit out.
Yeah. So I'm a little. I'm like I got one wheel, so I can't even like really run right now, which sucks because that's for me is like how I really slim down is like cardio, and I can't really do full cardio right now. So, but we're on the path. That's all that matters. I'm there Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Low trajectory to a distant horizon.
Right.
Usually when fitness is right here, when you're climbing the mountain of fitness, it's just as sharp on the other side. But
I love that.
Low trajectory to a distant horizon.
That's the shit I'm talking about right there.
Buddy, what's the song that's coming out?
Oh, I thought Hurley said I wasn't allowed to plug anything.
Fucking plug everything.
New song, Smile, comes out next Friday, May 20th. A little fun, happy beat.
20th.
It's fun. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. And then speaking of, while I'm plugging that, I might as well plug the big show June 4th at Big Night Live. So if you're looking for an actual ripper, like the best party you've ever gone to.
The biggest Costa Ripper.
It's the biggest Costa Ripper ever. It's actually was my top goal this year. It was on my goals this year. Number one, headline Big Night Live. June 4th, headline Big Night Live. I got a lot of shit in the works. We're gonna do it's gonna be the oddest, most fun. It's actually called Happy Days. It's basically called Happy Days, the happiest ripper of all time, or something like that. It's the happiest ripper ever. So it's gonna be like very fun party vibes. There'll be unicorns there. There'll be like other shit. It's gonna be very weird, but it's gonna be fun.
Buddy is giving me control.
Oh yeah, Connor's the fun. What are we calling you? The
Front stage.
I don't want to call you fun, please, because that's not the right word. But he's like the fun director.
Director of Fun.
Director of Fun that night. Yeah, so he's in charge of everything that goes on stage in front of me, which is a good thing and a scary thing. But I don't care. We're going at it.
So if you're listening to this, there's a few of you that might get some calls about some stuff we need.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen.
we need you. It's gonna be fun. It's actually gonna be really fun. Tickets are only $10. So
$10. Come through. If you're listening to this and you've been to the Rip before, we probably don't have to explain it to you. You're going. If not, you've got to see what this is about. Whether you're drinking,
how about
whether
this?
you're
How
not
about
drinking.
this? Watch this. If you come, or if you listen to the Be Fit podcast, free entry.
What? Let's give them something. How do we? They have to DM you.
DM you guys. Or DM me.
us or
DM me
you.
at DJ Costa on Instagram. Say, I listened to you on the Be Fit podcast, and I'm going to put you on my guest list. Boom.
Free access.
That's a fucking plug.
Let's go. What else? You were going to say something. Oh, May 20th, that song comes out.
Yeah, May 20th.
You know what else is going on May 20th?
What?
Loud Lux Boys.
Oh, Loud Lux Boys are in town.
Another
yeah.
couple
Yeah,
of
we have a boat and grand together.
absolute animals.
Yeah, and so we'll probably train that day.
Oh, yeah. We'll train.
I'm in.
We'll go on the boat.
Fuck yeah.
We'll come back. We'll go to dinner.
Yep.
We'll go to Grand.
Yep.
My goal is to make it through that without drinking at all.
Good luck. Maybe I'll do the same.
But I'm gonna be partying.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna be there. I'm gonna be jumping around. I'm gonna be so insane that people are like, oh, he's got to be drinking. But no.
See, I wish I could do that. That's the one reason why I drink is like, I don't get I get like, I'm a social like I get like that little tequila just loosens me up to be like me.
Yeah.
I get like anxious with like everyone looking at me sometimes, like when I'm DJing. So it's like I just need a little tequila, a lot of tequila, and I'm just ready to rip, do anything.
Oh, I hope May 20th is nice because I'm definitely.
No, May 20th is gonna be nice. It's gonna be a little release day, release party. We're gonna do, and then Saturday the 21st is my grand, so that's gonna be like the release party. So that's it, man.
I may not wear a shirt that whole weekend.
Tarps off.
I'm
leaving mine on, but you can take yours off.
We'll all get there. Well, buddy, again, part of the reason why I'm here, part of the reason why I have a job here is because of the work we've done together, the access to other DJs that we've had, the motivation of us working together through COVID, the electric convoy.
Oh, electric convoy. We didn't even talk on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. We'll have to.
Part 2 in like a month. We'll do another one of these.
I have an idea.
Okay.
For that too. That's
Okay.
It's going to be electric.
Off the record.
But again, just inspiring person. And I wanted to kind of to give you a little bit more insight on not just who DJ Costa is, but Buddy Costa behind the family, the work that he does, his care and concern for health and wellness, not just for his job, but for his inspiration to a lot of other people, and dedication. He's one of the more dedicated people here in the office that trains every Tuesday, Thursday. We're downstairs. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This is great. People. Felt great. Felt good to be in the room with the boys.
Back again. We got to bring back that burnt toast.
Let's go, burnt toast. Peace out.
All right, guys. Big Night Fitness on Instagram, bignightfitness.com. If you're looking for upcoming classes, you can follow me at Connor T. Murphy. You can follow him at DJ Costa. And any questions you have, drop them in the comments. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Thanks for queuing in.